Boom, 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 boom. All right, here we are inside the locker room, and it is time for the sports to get kicking and underway. Joining me for the next half hour, Tega. I have been waiting for this moment, right? Because I've not had a great morning. It's been one thing after another. So today, locker room is our jewel in the crown, and the bling, bling, bling on that jewel is here, standing in front of the microphone. Tega, you have a duty today.
To do what?
Make the sun shine. Make it bright. Make it sparkly. Let the bling bling bling.
You must be confusing me with the Lord.
No, you have to, Tega. I look forward to locker room because it's that part of the day that makes me smile. Okay.
I will try. But good morning, everybody. How was your weekend? I'm still recovering, so forgive my voice. Yes, it's been an interesting weekend,
I
and I was
know
able to just catch 30 minutes sleep before I came upstairs.
you
But
tried.
but it was a good weekend. It was a very good weekend.
Yes, it was my Nadal.
All the goats and their sons that were scoring goals. That was good. Yeah, Nadal won. Again,
Mhm.
a very deflating final as expected, but yes.
But it's okay.
No, no.
It's all right. Okay, so real quick, let's tell you how you can join us. If you're not already up on YouTube, you can get up there if you're having to leave your radio at any point. We're youtube.com/ smooth 981 FM Lagos. You can leave a comment up on the live stream. You can also send your WhatsApp messages into 0809 440 981. And you can take it to Twitter as well. We are at smooth 981 FM up on Twitter. Use the hashtag lockerroom981 and tag us in your message so that we can get it. Like, that's doubly making sure that we get it. Giving you the rundown of what we've got coming for the next half hour. Warriors scored decisive game to win even series. India 2022 Flamingos clinch under 17 Women's World Cup ticket. And Triatech has no expectations for Wimbledon.
She always says that.
I will play at Wimbledon if my body allows, is what Rafael Nadal is saying. And I love how they say French Open champion, Rafael Nadal. And Ukraine players blameless for painful loss, says their coach. Canada's men go on strike, forcing Panama friendly to be called off. Whoa! And Southgate counting on England fans to behave. Please, people, he's not counting, he's actually begging against Germany. Whilst Egypt edged Guinea and Ghana and Tunisia held. And that is what we've got coming up for you. So getting straight into the NBA.
Oh yes, let's do
Yeah.
it.
And the Golden State Warriors vowed to play a more complete game after blowing a big lead in game one. Well, mission accomplished. They had another big third quarter in game two, then came on strong in the fourth quarter en route to a decisive 107 to 88 win to even the NBA Finals at 1-0.
Yes, but they still lost that home court advantage because of that game one loss. But game two was always going to be different. However, the Celtics came out better in game two. Because at the start of the first quarter, the Celtics were hot from the 3 point line. They shot 4 of 6 from the 3 point line. Golden State were a shot 1 of 5.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think because from the start of the game, it was everybody trying to force the Splash Brothers to do stuff. So once or twice, Steph Curry stepped up. And he didn't make his shot, but Clay Thompson had a very horrible night, and he started from the very first quarter. Steph Curry eventually caught fire in that third quarter. He was part of the guys that opened that gap from just 2 points to, I think it was 28 at some point, but that was for later in the day. But it looked like, so the way the Celtics started, they looked like they were going to take game two. Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum were doing all the work. Marcus Smart on defense, and Richard they were also defensively, they were also outplaying Green, who I think he's an Abaya sometimes.
Whoa.
he,
Wow.
he just doesn't know when to put on his leadership hat and when to throw a tantrum. He needs to sort that out at some point. But that first quarter, it didn't look like Golden State Warriors are going to be in it. They managed to just stay in touch with the Celtics. Same thing in the second quarter. They were trading 2 point leads, 3 point leads, maybe here or there, 5 point leads at most for the Celtics. But the third quarter was when everything turned around. It was almost as if Steph Curry went into the locker room and realized who he was. Then he came back out of that locker room, and it started from his defense, stopping Jaylen Brown from making a shot, then getting the ball on the other end, getting the turnover on the other end, stepping back beyond the arc, and dropping the three. And just when it looked like Celtics were going to recover from that three, he stepped back to the other side of the arc, dropped another deep three this time, and then Jordan Poole caught the magic and stood from the logo like he was literally mid-court when he threw his 3-point shot. It was 3 a.m. when he made that shot. I was screaming. I was like, okay, Tigger, it's 3 a.m. You shouldn't be doing that. But I'm telling you, it was beautiful the way the Golden State Warriors just picked up. And as they opened the gap, unlike game one where they opened a 15-point gap and then lost it in the fourth quarter, this third quarter, they opened the 15-point gap and they kept opening. And kept opening and kept opening till it was 28. There was 5 whole minutes on the shot clock when Ime Udoka just decided, let my starters rest. We are never winning this game. Just sit down. Said, just told the starters, just rest. We've lost. Let's just prepare to go back to Boston and get our acts together. But here is over. And that's what happened.
They learned from the last time. But you know what? I knew so I had to go and look up Steph Curry's 29 points because you know how the headlines are saying they were like, Steph Curry and Golden State Warriors win. I was like, it was that kind of a game.
Yeah, it was that kind of a game. So they needed somebody to step up on the day. He started it, and then Jordan Poole caught in, and Looney caught in. But Klay Thompson never did, because even Steve Kerr left him in rotation when there was the reserves that was playing, just to see if he's going to get his game back before game 3. Nothing happened. It was still cold. All night it was just cold for him. So let's see what he'll be. I think he will fire him up for game 3, but game 2 was a beautiful performance. But what it is that this series is one of the closest I've seen in a while, and I can't wait to see how game 3 and game 4 will turn out.
All right, okay, and getting into what's going on with our under-17s, Nigeria's Flamingos played out a goalless draw against Ethiopia at the MKO Abiola Stadium on Saturday to qualify for this year's under-17 Women's World Cup in India, thanks to an aggregate 1-0 scoreline.
Yes, so the series was actually won in Addis, not in Lagos. Lagos, they just defended the points that they had. Eventually, I think I know they didn't go out there to draw. They went out there to try and win, but it was a tough one. This under-17 has been tough for everybody. So if the Flamingos qualified from this very tight game, you turn over to Tanzania, who is another team that, Tanzania under 17. They are going to India. They qualified. But I think the biggest drama happened in the Morocco-Ghana series. So Ghana won 2-0 in Ghana. And they're like, we got this. We are bosses. They don't understand that when you go to Morocco, you're not just playing football. You're playing football, politics, health, survival series, everything. Look, North Africa, there's just you have to go there expecting more than just football, and it's exactly what happened. So it turns out that these girls went there to play. Of course, Morocco has done, like I said, Morocco has done a lot to develop their women's football, but their women's football over time. They are one of the countries that pay their women footballers good money and pay on time. They don't owe. They have structure, they have a league, they have teams that are now going on the continent to try and overthrow people. This is Morocco that didn't have any women's football. If you count 8 years back, they were struggling. All of a sudden,
this is impressive.
Yeah, they decided to put investment in structure, infrastructure, in the players, and Moroccan women. You have not heard the last of them. You are just starting. So they've built a team. However, they still give them some North African tactics, because these girls go for the first 5 minutes, come back, and they say that there are chemicals in their room, in the locker room, so they had to stay outside.
This is expected. Okay.
Then they get back on the pitch and there's all sorts of drama. Some people were questioning the referee, some people were not questioning the referee. It comes down to penalty shootout. They lose in the penalty shootout to Morocco, because on the aggregate it was 2-2, because Morocco scored 2 goals. So they played penalty shootout. They lost out on penalties 4-2 to Morocco. So Ghana lost 4-2 to Morocco, and then the stories started coming out, the pictures started coming out. The halftime, they had to sit outside because they're fumes in their room. Now, some journalists now comes to a thread that Morocco is renovating hold on, you need to hear this thing because I don't want to hear it alone. That Morocco is renovating in ahead of the women's WAFCON taking place in July. So that they were painting. Hold on. Don't. Oh, Shokwa, I don't like the look on your face. Just give him a benefit of doubt if you can. That they were painting and renovating. And so they had painted the girls' locker room and they had told them to leave the door open. And then they didn't. So when they came back, the fumes was there. I was like, hold on. Did they have to paint the locker room knowing that there was a match? Couldn't they paint it tomorrow? Or I mean, which is today? Couldn't they paint it today? If they painted it today, will it not be ready in time for July? Like, what's all this nonsense excuse you're coming up with?
I have many questions, but you've answered them. Thank you.
Because like, it was the most ridiculous
I'm
excuses.
Confused.
But yes, North African tactics again. I don't know how we're going to get over those. But the Moroccan ladies, they won. They defeated Ghana. So from Africa, it's Nigeria, Tanzania, Morocco for the under-17 Women's World Cup.
Okay, from here on out, for our ladies, whoever is going there to the North Africans, BYOB. Bring your own building. That's all, folks. All right, so getting back into the stories, we've got Iga. So, Iga Swiatek says she has no expectations, and I quote, for Wimbledon, despite her taking her winning streak to 35 matches by securing a second French Open title. So here's the thing. At what point is it like... does it go from being humble to just humble bragging, oppression through humble bragging?
On this note, I mean, with other ones, she says we've been working hard and it's paid. With grass, I know why she says it's tricky, and people say that. I do remember Roger Federer when he first started his career. He said, he used to play a lot of matches on clay. It wasn't grass. And when he first started his career, he was like, okay, I've beaten Pete Sampras, and he lost in the very next match. Let me just tell you. But he had said, I've beaten Pete Sampras, but grass is always tricky. This was the Roger Federer that went on to win 8 Wimbledon titles on grass. But at the start, you have to get used to it. And so that's what he was saying. He was trying to get used to it. So he had said, it was tricky for him, and this is the same thing she's saying, that it's not that I can't do it, but grass is a little tricky. Like with the clay, I know the bounce. With the hard courts, I know the bounce. But with this grass, I'm still getting used to the nature of it.
I need to read these quotes from her, okay? She said, but honestly, grass is always tricky. I actually like the part that I have no expectations there. It's something kind of refreshing. She's getting bored of winning all the time.
Yeah, but
she's like, I want a little spice.
It was the great. She's on a 35 match winning run, by the way. But so she faced two players that were similar. A lot of people said, oh, Coco Gauff didn't show up in the final. Coco Gauff did show up in the final. The problem with Coco Gauff's tennis is her style. Coco Gauff is an aggressive tennis player. She's an attack-minded tennis player. The same thing with Jessica Pegula, which means she's always going to push. She's going to have variety, and that gives a player like Iga Swiatek, who has defense. She is the best returner on the women's tours, and she has very good forehand. So it makes a player like Coco Gauff, who is always attacking, open to someone like Iga Swiatek, who can turn defense to attack in 1 minute. And so that's why she looked like she did show up, but she was really playing her best tennis. Iga was just better. Like I said, Pixel 3310.
We move into a break. We'll be back with your messages and more. It's the locker room on Smooth Breakfast.
Hey. I am so cold.
That was just that. It's just I need something refreshing.
She'll be there. Don't worry.
She's like, guys,
that refreshing.
At some point, winning gets boring.
When she was struggling against Jean, she also looked for something refreshing. Because when she was playing players like Jessica Pegula, and you could just see it. You know how when they tell you that if you want to fight, don't fight when you're angry. Because if you fight when you're angry, you're not defending. You're just trying to let out steam. You're just trying to let out steam. So you're not really defending. You don't care the other people. So if you rush into a fight when you're angry, another person can just brush you, and they'll not think you don't have power. Meanwhile, it's just the way you approach the fight. That's how Iga and Jessica Pegula play, because they're always attacking. So they'll attack, and Iga is one of the best returners. She'll just return. Then they're like, how did she return that? That would have been a winner in another game. And then while they're trying to recover from her return, she hits you one big forehand. And that was the problem. So you just kept seeing it over and over again. Like they're rushing head in. And you're like, you guys should stop.
Just chill, man.
Just chill. chill.
And she's just watching them.
Exactly. You're just like, just chill, read the game plan. I mean, Coco's own was really bad, and because it was her first final, so of course she was nervous. So you could see her that first set where they beat her 6-1. She was doing like this. Then like, I was just like, lift your head up. Look at the person you're trying to punch, and then throw a punch that will land. It was so frustrating watching it. But that's her style of play. She's an aggressive player. So she's going to have to need to learn how to defend. And that's where I think it's another coach apart from her father that can give it to her. Sometimes your father will build you up to one level, but you need a professional to just change your game.
How far with Emma Raducanu and all these injuries that she keeps collecting left, right, and center?
Well, everybody.
Havana is still coaching her as well, right?
No, in fact, at some point she didn't have a coach. So Emma Raducanu has one of those problems. But a lot of people were playing with injuries. I mean, when you get into the second week, by the time you're in second week, most people are walking wounded. You just have to determine which kind of walking wounded. Like Leila Fernandez, she broke her foot.
Jesus.
That one that she played through it and won the second set. She broke her foot.
Like sometimes when I'll be watching them and they'll be doing this, I feel like you need to have at least pulled something.
She broke her foot, but Zverev, he tore ligaments in his ankle. So that one is different. But Leila broke her foot, and she played on that broken foot till the end of the match.
Oh my God, that's adrenaline.
Yeah, sometimes it happens. Sometimes you hear.
As soon as she finished, she was like, "Oh guys, I'm falling. I'm down."
You understand? They're always struggling. So Raducanu has that same struggle. It's something she can play through, but she doesn't have that coach. She doesn't have discipline.
All right, we're back in. Okay, here we are, and we're coming in hot and heavy with your messages. Jamal B. Victor says, good morning and congratulations to Rafael Onyekachi Nadal, our Nigerian brother, for doing the needful. He never disappoints with that victory against Casper Ruud. He is the king of clay anytime, any day, as we are proud of him here at the locker room. God bless Nigeria and long live Smooth FM. Wow. I've joined everything one. I love it, Jamal B. And who is this? Got this one in from Josh, who says, Dear Tiger, nice to have you in the locker room. Have you noticed the similarities between Nadal and Roland Garros finals? It's like Real Madrid and the Champions League finals. If Nadal gets to the Roland Garros finals, all opponents should just forget it. Same with Real Madrid. And guess which club Nadal supports? Real! He has won 14. Oh gosh, yes, the links are so many. He has won 14 Roland Garros, while Madrid has won 14 Champions Leagues. And that's all. Mic drop. Okay, then.
All right, so let's get to that story.
Okay, and getting into it. Hold on. Give me a second. Here we go. I've touched stuff. And French Open champion Rafael Nadal will play at Wimbledon later this month if his body allows him to, the Spaniard said on Sunday, after winning Roland Garros for a record-extending 14th time.
Yes. Huge day for Rafa Nadal. But again, he's telling you, I'm a player with a disability now. This one is no longer an injury.
I love it. He's like, I will go if my body's ready to
go.
Because
the thing is, with that, his foot injury, he's saying he can't keep playing on injections. He has to... he's going to try to, there's a small procedure he's going to try to do with his nerves, and if it works, then he will play. If it doesn't work, then he's not playing. So again, Rafa Nadal beats the field with an injury. That's what he's telling me. He came on clay as the king of clay and beat all of you.
There's something about that clay that sings through his
with an injury. And like, look, Casper Ruud was never going to be an opposition. The minute Casper Ruud made it all the way through the ranks to the finals, he knew it was going to be light work. So
they were like, let's push him out as cannon fodder.
Exactly. With Rafa Nadal, I think the time he won it was the time that Zverev picked up that injury. That was when he knew, this is grand final number 22. Like there was nobody else. The tough people were in his bracket, and he took out Novak Djokovic, who was one of the leading or favorites to win it. Then Zverev, he was because he actually won the first set that he shouldn't have won. He should have lost. So you looked at, those were the toughest people in the draw, and he took them out easily. The rest of them, oops, he was just skipping through the medals in that final. He was following. He was observing protocol to play that final. Because ideally, by the time he got to that final, Amelia Maresmo should have just said, you know what, Nadal, don't waste our time. Just take the
Just
trophy.
take
Casper Ruud is not beating you any day. And that's exactly how it happened. Casper Ruud was playing his best, but even with his shot selection, again, he's one of those, maybe it's youthful exuberance or something. You could see from his shot selection that this is not, you don't play with Nadal. Like sometimes he will have to step all the way to one end of the court to hit a big forehand. Now, again, Rafa Nadal is one of the best returners. Sorry, he's the best returner on clay on the men's side. And you hit that kind of big forehand, which means that this real estate on this other side of
He'll
the
just
court.
be
Exactly. Rafa Nadal is going to find that one spot and win the point, and you will not have enough time to run back to defend. So you could see him making the error over and over again. It was such a struggle. I was just like, you know what, Casper Ruud, just cry in the corner. You lost to a great champion. He has 22 Grand Slams. It's all right. It's all right to lose to him.
Oh, you know that he didn't have a speech prepared. He was like, "It's in my pocket, guys." Oh yeah, so I never expected it, but you know what? He's such a fantastic player. And you'd be like, "How many years ago did you write this?"
Exactly. He actually said it before the match that, I'm just here to enjoy the experience because I don't think I can beat Rafa. And true to type, he didn't beat Rafa.
It's like, this one is tourism for me. And Ola from Midori Taylor says Nadal is the GOAT on clay. Coco Gauff is the best player in this year's French Open. Corey Golf?
Yeah, her name is Corey Golf.
Okay. Is the best open in the... I've just known her as Coco all my life.
Yeah, we all just call her Coco.
In this year French Open for me, despite not winning, I enjoyed every game she played. Morocco showed Ghana the juju of African football. Says Ola. Okay, let's get back into the stories. And okay, so remember how we're like, oh, Ukraine players, they won. They went to Wales. They lost. Ukraine coach Alexander Petrakov said that he could not utter a word of criticism of his players after the World Cup qualification dream ended with a 1-0 loss to Wales on Sunday. And he said, I can only say thank you for everything he did for the team. I do not have any criticism to any of the players in the team. There is no need to touch any of the players because they did what they could.
Yeah, they did.
But Wales was counted as 64 years.
You'd have to have no conscience to criticize any of the players. Even the referee, the way the referee was officiating the match, you could tell it was different. Like, there was one foul that the Ukraine coach was yelling on the sidelines. Like, why would he? When this Welsh coach did it, they showed him a yellow card. But with the Ukrainian coach, they're like, there's a war in their country. Like, he just explained to him. He's like, he explained to him, you shouldn't do this. I'm the referee. I'm monitoring the game. Just let me do it. That was said, okay, I'm sorry. You could see that they were babying. Even when the referee wanted to give Ukrainian players a card, he explained it slowly. You see, I have no choice but to give you this card. That was your second or third foul.
My brother, but take this card.
And then the Ukrainian player would be like, yeah. So you could tell that they were treating them with kid glove. But the Welsh players didn't do that. Unfortunately for Ukraine, they were the ones that scored the goal. The only goal of this match was an own goal. Came off Yarlenko.
Guys, that own goal business is not something
it was so painful. So I think that's what was really painful about it. And they couldn't score. They created chances. They played well. They just couldn't score because what the Welsh did on the day, they were solid. They played. It wasn't dirty football. It was just hard football. So they just let you know that they were around so that you couldn't do anyhow.
I've seen the Hills of Wales. They did nothing but solid.
I mean, they knuckled down and they won the match. So congratulations to them. They've made it to their first World Cup in 64 years, which is a really huge deal. They've really worked hard to try and get here.
They all have their stories. Right?
Yes, so they really worked hard to try and get here, and the celebration was commensurate with the victory of 64 years. So congratulations to them. But for Ukraine, you try again another time.
64 years, man. Some grandpas were like, I haven't seen this moment.
Yeah,
I was
some people I'm not
7.
Some people say I've never seen this since I was born. How did we get here?
It's the grandfathers and grandmothers I'm talking about now. Okay, Sean Abel says from First Act says, funny how Nadal's birthright is the French Open, so the same way Madrid's birthright is the UCL, 14 apiece. And Chimal B. Victor says, Rafael Nadal can... Okay, the messages keep on coming. He says Ukraine played fantastically well against Wales last night, but it wasn't to be. He who fights and runs away lives to fight another day. I'm happy for Aaron Ramsey and Gareth Bale for making it to the World Cup after 64 years. And Tony Teresi from Anthony Villa says, I wish that Ukraine qualified. Nevertheless, I'm happy for Wales because of Gareth
Gareth
Bale.
Bale.
Okay, there we go. All right, back into the sports. And the Canadian men's national team went on strike on Sunday, forcing a friendly with Panama to be called off. Now, the team's refusal to play revolves around a dispute with the country's football association, Canada Soccer, and they actually released a letter on Sunday. Like, what's
Yeah, they're
going on
saying
there?
so. Um, I think they're asking to be paid 75% to 100% of their money, and the federation is saying no, we're going to pay 60% to be of the World Cup money, and they're saying no, we're going to pay 60% to be divided between the men and women. So 30% for the men, 30% for the women for equity, and then 40% for the federation. Is that not fair? I mean, we prosecute all these games, we hold all these qualifiers. We should get some money. The Canadian were like,
Saying,
no,
are you disrespecting
we
us?
want 70 exactly. And then they also mentioned something about that the family tickets that were given to each Canadian player for their family is just tickets and hotel rooms. And I was like, do you know that you're going to Qatar? There's no hotel room anywhere. Do you want your family to be living in Dubai and be coming to the games? Because that's what will have to happen. There are not enough hotels. So with the few hotels that are in Qatar, um, FIFA had taken about 70% of those hotels for the players and teams. So the few that are there are at exorbitant price. That's the one that government left, because government also have their guests. So they've taken some. So the few that are there are exorbitant prices. So even if you're checking with all these travel agents and hospitality that work for the World Cup, you are going to be living outside Qatar and flying in for the game. The good news is that you can watch two games at this World Cup. You can watch two games in one day at one stadium because of how small the city is. So it's not. So what is supposed to be the cheapest World Cup, like I said before, has become the most expensive World Cup because of the size of the country. So I think they're being unreasonable about asking for more hotel rooms, because there are simply no hotel rooms, except you want your family to sleep in the fan zone.
Let them take away the hotel rooms from them. Let's see what happens before. The people that complain, I don't have anything. I don't have anything. Take away the something they have and let's see what they do.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Let's see. Jesse from Ojo says, "Morning, Queen Tagger / locker room duo. I love how the god of soccer has so far written the story of Messi and Ronaldo. I just think a semi-final pairing of both teams will cap off a stunning career for both players and football in general."
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Yeah. And let's get into.
Oh, we can't get it. I know you like this locker room. I'm
We
going.
finished.
Shokwe,
It's
I'm
over,
going.
guys. It's really, really over. I can't believe it. Okay. Well, in that case, Tiger's got to go. I was very excited to get into the next story, but apparently
Yeah,
not.
something about Southgate and England. So England is Southgate is telling the English fans to behave themselves, because they're one of those that were talking bad about the Hungarian fans, who were bad. 90% of the people in the stadium were children under the age of 14,
Okay.
and they were booing when England took the anti-racism campaign nil. So if after criticizing somebody and your fans now misbehave, where's the moral high ground you're going to talk from? That's why they're telling people to behave. So please listen to Gareth Southgate, England fans, and behave on Tuesday.
Okay. Make sure you catch Tega on Twitter. She is at Tega Supreme. And that's all for the locker room. She'll be back on Wednesday morning.
Yeah, people. Let me wear my shoes. Say bye.
Bye, YouTube.
Bye.
See you